If ever you notice a pair of hands in an advertisement, the chances are they belong to our next guest. Nina Taylor has made such a successful career out of hand modelling that she can now make around $9,000 a day for her services.
Yeah, it is just incredible. She's been the hands for the likes of Jennifer Lawrence and Scarlett Johansson, to name a few, and she's earned herself the nickname the Kate Moss of hand modelling. And the woman behind the hands, Nina Taylor, joins us now from London. Nina, hello to you. I have so many questions about this. I am intrigued by it, but we've got to start. Can we have a look? Show us your hands.
Oh, of course, there they are. But I'd love to say good morning to you, Georgie, and Deb as well. And I'd love to say a special hello to your lovely Australian viewers as well. This is such a privilege for me. I mean, I travel all around the world. I do all sorts of things in the States and everywhere else. I've never been to Australia, and this is, at the moment, the closest I'm going to get. So I'm really pleased to be on this show.
Well, it is a great pleasure to have you, and come on down soon. I've got to ask you, Nina, what constitutes a beautiful hand? Is it about the nail bed? Is it about knuckles? Is it skin? Like, explain to us what it is that you have.
OK, well, I'll try and keep it brief, but to be a beautiful hand is one thing, but to actually be a successful hand model is a whole other thing. So, of course, you start off with a gorgeous-looking hand. So that constitutes even skin tone, straight fingers, absolutely right, a deep nail bed. So when we talk about the nail bed, that's that pink fleshy area, which is still that bit that's attached to the finger before the white tip happens. So that is actually deemed very photogenic and attractive in shots. So that's the first part of it, really. And then obviously caring for your hands and nails is crucial. But then you've got this whole other aspect of being a successful hand model, where you have to know the skill, how to hold your hands. And this is something that obviously, but you mentioned some of the fees that I can command. I've been in this industry for 20 years. So obviously when somebody books me on a shoot, whether it's for Dior or Tiffany's or whatever it may be, or working with some of the celebrities you mentioned, you've got all that experience in there. And some people even call me One Take Nina, so that sort of explains it all.
There you go. And it is lucrative, as you say. Your hands, I understand, are insured for about £2 million, more than $3.5 million here in Australia. That would mean, no doubt, that there are things that you do to keep your hands looking good, and there would be things that you don't do to ensure that they don't get damaged.
Absolutely. So, you know, a beauty regime is essential. I mean, to be honest with you, I understand why people are intrigued by this, because it's something you may not have heard about. But when you learn about it, there's actually many similarities with being what we call a general model. You know, a general model would also take care of her skin and her appearance and all the rest of it. So it's the same with hand models. You need to give them attention every single day. I moisturise about 30 times a day.
Wow.
And you have to be very careful as well. And yes, so that's basically it. That is basically it. There are certain things I can't do. I mean, you know, I'm not going to be sort of digging around in the garden necessarily or doing crazy things like that. Yeah.
No, definitely no housework, no scrubbing of pots or anything like that. Tell us, it is an unusual line of work. How did you get into it? Were you spotted walking down the street one day, or how did it come about?
Well, I know some people who have been spotted, actually, but for me, it was actually something recommended by a family member all those years ago, and I actually didn't know about it at the time. In fact, I ignored it at the time because I didn't... Similar to some of your viewers out there, they had never heard of this before. So eventually I actually did something about this, contacted the top agency for hands at the time. I didn't know they were the top agency, by the way. It was just, you know, by chance. They took me on, signed me up. They obviously saw some potential. But I didn't work for the first year, you know, and that is a sign of, you know, that it's not just about a pretty hand. You know, just because you have a pretty face doesn't mean you're going to be the next Kate Moss. And of course, you know, having worked with Kate Moss many times over a 10-year period myself, you know, she's gorgeous, but she is a master at working that camera. And there's a similar thing with hand modelling as well, where the photographers, the directors, they can rely on you to turn up and you can deliver.
I love it. And I love seeing the images of the behind the scenes of you sort of underneath the actual models with
Oh,
your
did you see
hand up.
those? Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's so incredible. And the fact that, you know, you have made such an amazing career out of this, what's your advice to someone watching who might think, wow, I've got some pretty good hands here, how they might get into this field of work?
Okay, so I'm not that familiar with the scene in Australia necessarily, but I think it's pretty much universal. You start off obviously similar to how I did, thinking, okay, you know, I think my hands look attractive, you know, even maybe even practicing. I mean, I've got a glass of water here. Maybe just holding a glass and seeing how pretty you can make that look. Then maybe, I mean, in my day, you know, I couldn't even get on the internet to Google something, but now we can just check it out on the internet. Have a look at hand modelling agencies, get in touch, maybe have a look on their website and have a look at some of your competitors on there as well. See if you match up, and if you do, get in contact.
Wow.
Well, Nina Taylor, lovely to chat, and congratulations on your success. Come on down to Australia and bring the sunscreen.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
We want to protect that skin.
And give us a wave. I just can't stop looking at your hands. You use your hands when you talk, which is lovely. So there we are. Beautiful.
I know, I do. I can't help it.
Lovely to chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Take care.
I am intrigued. I'm thinking of George Costanza and that sort of scene with the hands, but wonderful.